Okay, this is my weekly weigh-in video. I'll start off by saying I don't know that this is going to be a relatively short video. So if you're not interested in these kind of just sit down talking videos, then you probably do yourself a favor by just skipping this one completely. I'm going to give an update on my week and how things went. But first, I'm going to start out by just talking about my decision to stop daily vlogging. A lot of people posted, comments and their thoughts, in response to that video. So, and I was going to reply in the comments, but I feel like I would probably just be repeating myself to everybody. So I figured it's probably just better for me to do it in video format, just respond kind of to everybody, to give my thoughts on that. So the reason that I stopped daily vlogging, I don't think people fully understand why I did that. Something that I had noticed with my videos, and I recently went back and kind of confirmed this for myself, is that the daily vlogging was diluting the message that I'm trying to get across and what I'm trying to do with the channel. And that's why I feel as though the daily vlogging was hurting the channel. I went back to the video that I made, the first video right after I was done with my job, my full-time job. And I think I titled it something like, my first day as a full-time YouTuber, right? So that was 3 weeks ago. I did, 2.5 weeks worth of daily vlogs. And I went back to that video and I went through every daily vlog that I had made since then. And I totaled up the comments. I only looked at the original, like an original comment. I didn't look at the replies that people made, because a lot of times the replies don't stay in the context of the original comment from a person. And I also totaled up any thumbs up on that comment. So in other words, if somebody gave a thumbs up on a comment, I treat that as the person who's giving the thumbs up is saying, I agree with that, I would post that same message, basically. So if there's a comment and one thumbs up, that would count as two. One for the original, one for the thumbs up. If there's two thumbs up, it would count as three. Anyway, right, you get it. So I totaled them up and I put them into three different categories. The first would be, the comment is a suggestion or a criticism, of something I've said or something I'm doing or something I'm not doing. Basically, the person is offering, advice or, like I said, suggestions or criticisms, right? So something that the person thinks that I need to change. And let me say that I'm not grouping this because I feel as though, suggestions or criticisms are bad. I've incorporated a lot of suggestions and things that people have given me over the years. This is really just a bucket, right? So the other group would be comments where somebody is asking me for help, right? They're looking to change something, or even looking for me to clarify maybe something I've said or something I'm doing or something I'm not doing, and can I help them in their journey or what they're trying to do. So those are the two different sides, right? Somebody, giving me a suggestion to change, or somebody asking me for help for something they can change. And then the middle group is pretty much anything that doesn't fall into those two categories. So it would really just be somebody making a comment, hey, great video, or, posting an emoji or whatever, right? So, so I totaled these up. This is for the 2.5 weeks that I was vlogging. I went through all comments. The middle group, which is really just the comments, I totaled and I broke down the hash marks through every single video. The group of just comments was 436. So 436 either a comment or a thumbs up on a comment, which is really, and they were just kind of statements, didn't fall into one of the other two categories. So 436. The group of comments where somebody's offering a suggestion or a criticism or advice, again, something I'm doing or not doing, came out to 357. And the group of people seeking help from me, asking for help or clarifying or trying to change something or whatever, came to 18. So that's a pretty big difference. That's a pretty big discrepancy between the types of comments that are that I'm getting on the channel. And I fully understand this. I understand why. Because, I lost a lot of weight 5 years ago. I've been on this, up and down roller coaster over the last 5 years. I'm in a state right now where I have gained some weight back. And so it's obvious that people would look at me as having failed, right? And you would want to come and offer me suggestions. And I think these are all coming from, most of them anyway, coming from, a place of people really wanting to help me, right? So I don't take these as bad. But, so again, I understand why that discrepancy, but I don't view myself that way. I don't view myself as somebody who's broken, who needs to be fixed. I've done this in the past, and I don't really know how to say this without sounding, cocky, but I know how to lose weight. I'm very in tune with who I am and how my body reacts and how to lose weight and exercise. A lot of the suggestions are around me going back and doing what I did 5 years ago. Right? People want the same kind of vlogging and the same kind of tracking and everything. But to me, that doesn't make any sense. Look where I am right now. It worked for a year and then something changed. And so, no, I don't want to redo the same thing I did 5 years ago. Why? That would mean 5 years from now, I'll be back where I am right now. I don't want that. So I have changed some things in my approaches, and my approach to how, this journey is going. And the only thing I can conclusion I guess that I can make is that the people don't see it. They don't really know my agenda. They don't really know what I'm trying to do. And so they're offering help. And I guess what really bothered me the most about this is that the 18 comments or whatever that I got, people seeking, my help or asking me a question, there were a bunch of those that I left unanswered. And that bothers me because that's really where I want my focus to be. And I feel as though the daily vlogging, there were many more comments and topics and things being discussed that were outside of what I'm trying to do, with my own journey and with this channel. And, it wasn't just the one comment from Ash that, about the daily vlogging hurting the channel. It really, for me, started the day before. I shot a video, it was titled 3 Big Wins. And in that video, I detailed those 3 wins. The first was that, I got myself to be able to work out, to have a great workout, even when, my mind was telling me that I was too tired or I wasn't motivated enough. And I just got into the gym and started my workout and ended up being an amazing workout. The second big win was that my first thought after my workout was I should eat some whole food. I was trying to get away from protein shakes or feeling like I wanted some whole foods. So I started looking around for what I wanted to eat. And I ended up also getting my mind out of the way and realizing that I'm not even that hungry. So don't just eat because your mind tells you you need to go eat. This is the time to eat something whole after your workout. Decide if you're really hungry in the first place. So that was the second big win and the second way that I got my mind out of the way. And then in that video, I was dropping off my permit for the work that I was going to do in the attic, and I kind of signed off for the day. I said that was it, right? That's the vlog for the day. But then right after that, I had my third big win, which was riding my bike up that hill, putting my head down and just looking at the immediate surroundings for where I'm riding, instead of looking ahead at the hill that I'm climbing and listening to my mind tell me, oh my gosh, this is a hard hill, you have a long way to go, you're hardly even, I focused on where I was, and it was so much easier. And I came back on camera, even though I said the vlog was done, because it was important. And I wanted the emotion and how I felt about that on the trail at the time. And then I even came back again on my way home to kind of reiterate it and say how I was able to do that on the way home. And it was just so much easier to ride when I wasn't listening to the chatter of my mind telling me how hard things were. What struck me though was that there was not one comment on any of those wins. The comments were about, the permit, right? Me submitting a permit and other things about, my diet and exercise and stuff. And I'm not blaming anybody other than myself. I put the content out there, right? I was the one who was vlogging about the permit and going to the township building but that's the point. The point is that the vlogging, the daily vlogging, was taking away or diluting the message. And that video to me was very important. Those wins and those things are what I'm trying to do and what is actually sparking my transformation right now. And believe me, it's underway. It's going. I'm in the zone. And I think Ash's comment just came at the time that I was already thinking that the daily vlogging is diluting what I'm trying to do with the channel. It's just, and like I said, at the time when I quit the daily vlogging, that I'm not done daily vlogging. I still enjoy it. I'm just going to do less of it and more focused on the things that I think are important for my transformation and for the people that I think can benefit from what I'm doing. It may also be that the people who are currently subscribed and currently watching these videos as they come out each week, maybe you're not going to be able to benefit from the real-time watching as I upload things, this actually happened on my channel. So when I started my weight loss in 2016, I didn't get a lot of subscribers. In fact, when I posted my 1-year video, I had, I think, a little over 100 subscribers. And that 1-year video was just a collection of clips put to music, of the 1 year. So all that content, except maybe the mug, I think the mug at the end, I did right at the end of the year, right? I did that for the video. But all of that content was there. So all I did was just, splice it up and re-edit it into a 5-minute video of my year progress. And I think that the people that got the message from that video, weren't the people who were watching me daily vlog, throughout that year. The message came after the fact, when people can see that I've made a transformation, and then they look back and then they say, oh, well, what was he doing? Then it means more. Whereas I think at the time when I was doing it, it wasn't as impactful. I don't know if that makes any sense. So I just have to do what I feel is right, and where I want this channel to go. I may also be putting another video up soon. I don't know, this week or maybe even later today, just titled who this channel is for, or what this channel is about, because I definitely think there's still a lot of confusion, and I'm not saying that people should leave or unsubscribe or whatever, but again, I have to stay true to my mission with the channel, and put the content out that I think is going to help the people that I think can benefit from it. So anyway, I've gone on, I think, long enough about that. Again, I appreciate the comments and the thoughts, but I do have a plan. I do have a mission with this channel and where I'm going and what I'm trying to do. I just think that the message is difficult for people to understand, at least at this time right now. So that's I think that's all I'm going to say. So I will be vlogging. I will be doing some vlogging. Again, it's just going to be less of it and less focused on my daily life. You know, it's not going to be a daily thing. So yeah. As far as my weekly update, I lifted weights every day. I had some really good workouts. Like I said, I'm really in the zone right now. I feel like I did even better diet-wise this year, this week. I really feel like I'm starting to shrink. I'm feeling more of like my abs and when you start losing weight and you start feeling like things are shrinking, and it's a really good feeling. Clothes are fitting a little bit more loose, and I feel like I can move easier and better. So those are all really good signs. I didn't make too much progress on like my kayaking, my biking and kayaking. I did get my cart. I'm gonna probably either do a video or a review on the cart. I don't know, coming up soon. I would like this week to try to at least get some practice riding with the kayak and the cart, the bike. Maybe if the weather's good, I'll set aside a day and maybe I'll do a whole trip out to the lake kayaking. And I didn't do it Friday because I talked about maybe doing it Friday. We had a little bit of rain, and then there were like some little modifications I had to make to the cart. I had another flat tire. Anyway, it just I ended up not having enough time to do it all. So anyway, that's gonna be one of my big plans for the week, and continue to lift weights. So that is pretty much it. That's pretty much my update. Again, I hope maybe I helped to try to clear up why I stopped daily vlogging, and yeah. So anyway, I hope you had a great weekend, and I will talk to you in the next video.